You've probably heard this saying that your money can make its own money, right? It sounds kind of like a magic trick, but it's a real financial principle called compound interest. I mean, some people have even called it the eighth wonder of the world. So in this explainer, we're going to see exactly why.
So let's just get right to the heart of it. I mean, what if every single rupee you saved could become like a tiny employee, one that works for you 24/7, just earning you more and more money? Well, that's pretty much the big idea behind compound interest.
Okay, so before we can really see the magic happen, we've got to get on the same page. Let's quickly go over the basic building blocks. We're talking about principal, interest, and amount.
All right, first up, principal. Think of this as your starting line. It's that initial chunk of cash, you know? The money you either invest or borrow. Everything else, it all starts from this one number.
Okay, next up is interest. You can think of this as the fee you pay for, well, renting money if you're the borrower. Or, on the flip side, it's the reward you get for lending your money out. It's just that extra bit that gets paid on top. And finally, we've got the amount. This one's easy. It's just the grand total you end up with. That's your original principal plus all the interest it's racked up. So, now that we've got those terms down, let's see how this all works in the real world.
Okay, let's dive into the first way you can calculate interest. This is the simple method. And yeah, as the name suggests, it's pretty much a straight line.
So the one thing you absolutely have to remember about simple interest is this. It's only calculated on your original starting amount. Every single time. Doesn't matter how many years go by, the interest you earn is always the same. It's predictable for sure, but you're about to see it's not very powerful.
Let's actually put some numbers on this. Imagine you invest, say, 1,000 rupees at a 10% simple interest rate. So in year one, you earn 100 rupees. Easy enough. What about year two? How much do you earn then? Yep, still 100 rupees. Year three? You got it, another 100. See, the amount you earn, it just never changes.
All right, but what if the interest you earned could also start earning its own interest? Well, that's the game-changing idea behind the compounding method. And trust me, this is where things get really interesting.
This right here, this is the secret sauce. With compound interest, it's not just about earning interest on your original cash. You start earning interest on your interest. Your money literally starts to build on itself, creating this incredible feedback loop of growth.
So here's the huge difference. Instead of always going back to that original principal amount, the calculation is done on the newest total. The interest you just earned gets added to the pile, making the principal bigger for the next year. And a bigger principal, well, that earns even more interest.
Okay, time for the main event. Let's put simple and compound interest head to head. We're going to put them side by side so you can really see the difference. This is where that power of compounding is going to become super, super obvious.
You know, it really just boils down to one key difference. Simple interest, it's kind of stuck in the past, right? It only ever looks at that original starting amount. But compound interest, that's forward-looking. It takes everything you've already earned, adds it to the pot, and creates a much bigger base for all your future growth.
So let's get back to the numbers. We're going to see how our 1,000 rupees grows over 3 years. Now, pay close attention here. In year one, you'll notice both methods look exactly the same. But just watch what happens next.
See? Look at that. After year one, they're tied. But by the end of year two, compound interest has already pulled ahead by an extra 10 rupees. Then by year three, that gap gets even bigger. That extra 31 rupees, that didn't come from anywhere new. That's just interest earning its own interest. Now, I know what you might be thinking. A few extra rupees. What's the big deal? But don't let that small difference fool you. That little gap is just the beginning of something huge. Because this gap doesn't just grow, it accelerates.
Honestly, the best way to picture this is a snowball rolling downhill. It starts off small, right? But as it rolls, it picks up more and more snow, getting bigger and bigger and moving faster and faster. That is exactly what's happening with your money. The growth isn't just steady, it becomes exponential.
So, a financial snowball, what does that actually have to do with you? Well, pretty much everything. Let's bring this all back to your own goals, because understanding this stuff is so, so important.
Okay, if you walk away with just one thing from all this, please let it be this. The single biggest, most powerful ingredient for compounding, it's not how much money you start with, it's how much time you give it. Time is the fuel that turns that little snowball into an avalanche.
And once you really truly get that, you've basically unlocked a financial superpower. And hey, this isn't just about investing.
It's also absolutely crucial for understanding things like loans and credit card debt, and of course for planning your future.
So, how do you put this superpower to work? Well, first, start early as you possibly can, even if it's with really small amounts. Second, you've got to understand that this same power can work against you with debt, like on a credit card. And maybe most importantly, be patient. You have to let time do the heavy lifting. The real magic, it always happens over the long run.
So I'm going to leave you with a final thought here. We saw what happened with just 1,000 rupees in only 3 years, that small gap that opened up. Now, just try to imagine what that looks like after 10 years, or 20, or 30. Imagine that gap not just getting wider, but accelerating faster and faster every single year. That is the true power of compound.